They say you can tell everything about a person by the way they treat a stranger on a plane. But no one even looked at me that day. I was in seat 14F, back by the wing, cheap ticket aisle, too narrow air, too dry. My daughter Lily curled up against my arm, breathing soft and shallow, her little fingers holding on to my old denim sleeve like it was a lifeline. And maybe it was. She'd just turned 8, but she'd been fighting for every breath since she was 3. The seat next to us, 14E, got filled last minute. Woman in heels sharp enough to cut glass, blonde bun designer, everything eyes like spreadsheets, cold, calculated, judgmental. She glanced at Lily's patched backpack, then at my frayed jeans, and pulled out her laptop like it was a shield. No smile, no hello. She didn't know who we were. Nobody did. The plane took off, and the world fell into that soft hush of cruising altitude. Lily was already dozing off from her morning meds. I adjusted the sleeve on my left arm. Inside was a device no one should have been able to activate, not anymore. But I did. 2 seconds, one signal, and 20 minutes later, the sky lit up. 2 F-22 Raptors flanked the aircraft like silent guardians. Passengers gasped, pulled out phones, buzz rippling through the cabin. The pilot's voice cracked through the intercom. Calm, stunned, trying to stay professional. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been informed that a distinguished guest is being honored by the United States Air Force. This is a salute. The blonde woman froze. Her head turned finally to me, but I didn't move. Just held Lily closer. She didn't recognize me. No one did. 10 years ago, I wasn't just some dad and coach. I was Lieutenant Colonel Dean Matthews' ghost lead, they used to call me. Ran a team so classified even Congress didn't know we existed. We handled the threats that never made the news. Took down digital weapons before they detonated, fought wars in silence, until silence swallowed me back. Scandal hit political dirty and hungry for someone to blame. They needed a name and mine was convenient. Not important enough to protect, but just visible enough to sell to the press. I could have fought it. I had files, proof, but exposing that would have meant outing missions that saved thousands, maybe millions. Names, coordinates, deals made in the shadows to keep our enemies disoriented and our allies breathing. So I disappeared. Lost my clearance, my pension, my so-called brothers. Lost Lily's mom, too. She left 6 months after everything collapsed, said she didn't sign up to raise a sick kid with a disgraced man in a one-bedroom apartment. Took the house, the car, but left Lily. And thank God she did. Lily was all I had left, and that made her everything. We rebuilt. I worked construction when my back could take it, night security when it couldn't, sold plasma, did whatever I had to do, budgeted her medications like military rations, learned how to make mac and cheese taste like love. And today, I spent a month's rent just to get her on a plane to Denver. There's a specialist there, experimental treatment. Insurance won't touch it, but maybe, just maybe, it buys us more time. That's all I wanted. Time. So yeah, I sent the signal. Not for glory, not for revenge, just to feel like I still existed. The blonde executive next to me, her name turned out to be Ava Kingsley, founder and CEO of some defense tech company worth billions. Wrote an AI protocol meant to revolutionize warfare. She was headed to the same military summit I was, as a last-minute consultant. A favor from a buddy who remembered the ghost unit and didn't believe the official story. I showed up in worn boots and a visitor badge. She walked in wearing a suit that probably cost more than my Honda. She was mid-pitch slick slides, flawless delivery, talking about predictive countermeasures and machine-learned threat profiles. I raised my hand. Question, I said. Calm. Quiet. Her eyes narrowed. Yes, sir. Your AI assumes the enemy behaves predictably, right? Learns from past patterns. Yes, she replied, like I just asked if water was wet. What happens when the enemy feeds you fake patterns for months, years? Makes your AI think the false narrative is the truth. She hesitated, blinked. The room went still. I walked forward. We called it poisoning the well. Train the system to see noise as signal. Let it learn until it's blind. That's how you lose without ever knowing you were at war. She didn't speak, but something behind her eyes shifted. The presentation changed after that. We worked late me with Lily on my lap coloring stars, her rewriting lines of code. She added a doubt protocol, a system that second-guessed the mainframe, a kind of synthetic paranoia trained to question its own assumptions. It worked. The next day, she asked us to dinner. Lily, of course, asked if they had mac and cheese. I said no, but Ava said yes. Found a place with truffle mac and cheese that Lily declared fancy but not gross. Ava laughed, real, not CEO performative. That night, Lily asked her, "Why don't you have kids?" Ava paused, said no one ever taught her how to love someone for just existing. Lily just smiled. You're learning now. Days passed, then weeks. One morning a letter came. Pentagon seal. Inside, an invitation to a ceremony. They were restoring my rank, honorary but public, apologizing without saying the word. At the podium, I said nothing. But Lily, she stood on a crate, looked out at those polished uniforms and said, "Thank you for seeing my dad. He's always been a hero. But now, you remember too." Thunderous applause. And Ava, she cried. Tried to hide it, but I saw. 6 months later, she stood outside our apartment holding a bottle of wine and Lily's favorite ice cream. We'd been having dinner every week, sharing stories, building something quiet, careful. She looked at me, then at Lily, and said, "I don't know what this is, but it feels like home." Lily nodded. "Told you. You just needed practice." Now, there's a plaque outside the Langford Matthews Research Center. Lily cut the ribbon, breathing through a prototype device I helped design with Ava's engineers, funded by her company, powered by the data I once used to fight shadows. People ask if I regret staying quiet for so long, losing everything. I don't, because I gained something no clearance, no medal, no mission could ever give me. Her and Ava. And a life no one saw coming, not even me. So yeah, maybe no one noticed the single dad in 14F that day. But they notice now. And if this story makes you think twice about who you're sitting next to, good. Now tell me, who's the most extraordinary person you've ever overlooked? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading.